I want to say good evening to everyone, to my Camp Springs people and my friends and our special guests. We want to thank you for coming out to our Camp Springs Civic Association community meeting. Tonight's meeting is in collaboration with our Councilman Vice Chair Edward Burrows. We will hear from our public safety personnel. Then we will have Councilman Burrows and WSSC General Manager, the CEO, Ms. Powell, and the other members of WSSC give us an update on the roads on Old Branch Avenue and Allentown Road with the concerns that the community have put forward. Now, I do want to recognize the month of March is Women's History Month. Women, all the women, let's celebrate all the great things we have done and are doing. And men, you come in and celebrate with us. Now, in our nation, we are experiencing some chaos and trying times. Please pray for the nation, one another, and our federal employees. As always, we always put this pin in here. If you are not currently a member of the Camp Spring Civic Association, if you live in the area, you work in the area, you just love Camp Springs, please become a member. It's only $20 for a household for the year and $30 if you are a business. I want you all to think about this. In this area, this year, I think we had approximately 53 paid members at like $15 or $30. So we probably took in $850 at the most. Now we have a community of over 23,000 people that live in Camp Spring. We have 8,477 households. And with that, we have some apartments, and that's probably another 500. It is becoming quite difficult, everyone, to maintain the basic expenses of the Civic Association. You know, we have to pay liability insurance, we have to pay for our website, we have to pay Zoom and other things. So please become a member of the Camp Springs Civic Association so we can continue to provide the services that we do. Now, I want to give you all a couple of things that are coming up in the community. First, this Saturday, March 15th, from 10 to 2, there is a community giveaway at Rivertown and Eastover. They're going to be giving, this is for 55 years and older that live in District 4. This is coming from the police department. They're providing air tags, towel trackers, and portable battery chargers. Christmas in April, there's a fundraiser that's happening on March 24th. You can dine in or out. The 10% proceeds, I forgot to put will benefit the fundraiser. This is happening in Clinton. What is the Texas Ribs? I forgot to put that information, but it's at Texas Ribs. So please support that effort. That's where they go out and help seniors with things that they need done to their homes, you know, some maintenance on the homes. So please come out to support that. There's the next Coffee with the Cops. It's April the 4th from 10 to 12. This is going to be held at the Tanger Outlet at La Croissant. That's at 6800 Oxon Hill Road. Well, y'all know La Croissant? In that Tanger Outlet. Then come back the next day, April 5th. Our Crossland High School is having a community day on April the 5th from 1 to 5 p.m. Then let's go on now. The police and the fire department is having a cook-off. That's happening on April 19th from 1 to 3 p.m. back at the Tanger Outlet at La Croissant. Now there is a scam that's going around. Someone is posing as a Pepco employees. Please do not answer your doors. Don't let them in, because you know there's a lot of scams going around. Then the police also put out this report it. Register your property at reportit.ledsonline.com. That will make it easier if you have some items stolen, that they can identify them to recover for you. Now, all of this is on the Camp Springs Civic Association website, which is www.campspringsca.org. You will find all this information. So if someone say, could you please repeat that? Go on our website, look under events page, and you will find all this information posted. That concludes my look, what is it, my commercials. Do we have, I did not see, did you see any of our officers on the line? I didn't see them yet, because I might have to come back to
I'm
them.
here. I'm here.
So there go my Corporal Miller, Division 4. He's gonna give us an update. Take it away, Corporal Miller.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Corporal Miller out of the Oxon Hill Station from your community engagement unit. If you don't know me, she took away all my stuff that I had to talk about, but that's okay. Crime wise in Camp Springs, I've been looking over the last couple of months. You've only had two things, and it really wasn't in the Camp Springs, immediate Camp Springs area. We had a stolen vehicle, which the vehicle was recovered, and the suspect arrested from the 4500 block of St. Barnabas Road. And we had another stolen vehicle, which we actually recovered that on I actually recovered that on Stamp Road. But that's it. Couple people have called about some parking complaints, which the vehicles have been tagged. So I'm just waiting on Revenue Authority to tow them. If anybody got any questions, just let me know.
While you're posing your question to Corporal Miller, I forgot one more commercial. On March 23rd, Beltway Church of Christ is having their Family and Friends Day. That's 6000 Davis Boulevard at 9:30 a.m.
Well, why you say that? With April the 12th through the 14th, spring break, we have the summer camp at Beltway Church of Christ. That's
It's just the
free.
12th through the 14th, just 3
Yeah.
days.
Well,
Oh,
that week of the 12th.
okay.
We have a spring break camp, which is free for members that live in that area in the community. We also, you talked about the Christmas in April project. I'm the captain of Oxon Hill House right now. I'm actually working on that house stuff now as we speak. Her main thing was the lady needed a stove, a dishwasher, which I already got a dishwasher, working on a stove, and she needs a handicap ramp and a lift. So I'm trying to work on that. If anybody got any suggestions or ideas, or somebody who has the hookup, just let me know. I appreciate it.
The camp will be April 14th through the 18th, Corporal Miller.
Yeah, okay. I knew it was around that date. I just didn't have it in front of me.
I'm
Thank you.
looking at the week. So it's April 14th through the 18th.
And
Yes.
I'm heading that too. So
Okay. Hi, Mr. Tickman. So is Corporal Diggs or Corporal Thomas on the line?
Hey, Corporal Thomas on the line. How y'all doing?
Yeah.
It's hard following my role model Miller, but I follow behind him though. So the most major thing that happened in our area was a robbery. It was a store robbery at Royal Farms around like 8 at night on February 8th. And then the most things to watch is the stolen vehicles and theft from autos. We had multiple stolen vehicles, not immediately in the Camp Springs area, but right around the Camp Springs area. And we also had theft from autos, which occurred in the Camp Springs area. One of them was at Royal Farms. One of them was at Allentown Way, and there was a few others around the perimeter of Camp Springs. But that's the biggest thing to watch because we was on duty earlier today on day work, and uh, the criminals, they really do not care. They broke into a person's car at 7-Eleven on Crane Highway, bust the window out while they inside 7-Eleven, took their belongings and drove off. And one of our officers, they got their plate, got the car info, so hopefully we'll be making an arrest soon. But outside of that, nothing else major occurring around the area.
Thank you, Corporal Thomas. That goes back to what we keep hearing. Put your they say it doesn't matter what it is. Put it in the trunk of your car because, like he said, they don't care. They're gonna break the window. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a little cord. They're gonna break the window. So please I know it's hard, but we have to put our items away. So let's work on that.
This Miss Taylor, this Corporal Diggs, I just wanted to piggyback off of something that Corporal Thomas just spoke on, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay, so in reference to that recent theft from auto, I was one of the officers that was around and saw the vehicle driving at a high rate of speed after one of our officers initially tried to stop it. Of course, we could not pursue it for the type of crime that it was. However, just some additional details, because it's not just specifically to that general location. That specific vehicle has been tied to several weeks of theft from autos. It's a silver Honda Civic with tint, no front tags. And what's happening is that they've been swapping out the tags, the rear tag, whether it's from Maryland or Virginia. So just kind of be on the lookout for that. I don't want you necessarily like profiling it, but just be aware of your surroundings. Detectives have been looking for this vehicle because it's been involved in multiple theft from autos within our division, and I believe maybe within several other divisions as well. So just be very conscious of your surroundings. Lock all of your belongings up, either in the trunk or remove them. Take your purse, your wallet, anything of significant value with you, because they don't care, and it's getting warm out and they're getting a little more reckless. They're doing it. Police officers are in the vicinity and they're running from us, and it's dangerous. This car was driving like 90 miles per hour on Roosevelt Road in traffic during the school, like during school, the missile and stuff. So it's getting really dangerous. So please just be, watch yourself and be very cautious.
Yes, please do so.
And
Corporal
also,
Miller. Can I just ask Corporal Miller a quick question?
mhm.
Where the camp, what's the ages for the camp?
She said maybe the youngest is like 6 or 8, maybe.
So,
Yeah,
but
around
what's the
6 or
whole
8.
range? 6 to what?
6 to probably around 13. The older kids normally volunteer. If you got kids that need volunteer work, we have
Okay.
normally have the older kids volunteer.
Okay.
But yeah, she said around 6 um to probably like 12, maybe 13 at the oldest. At 13, she might even make a counselor, get
Okay.
the hours. But no
Okay.
more babies. Because we
Sounds
had somebody try to drop a baby off.
Start in the 6th grade, Miller.
Sixth
That's
grade.
start in the 6th grade. Then the middle school kids are probably going to be the counselors. Middle school and high school are counselors.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, some of the middle schools for the last 10 years, they've been in the camp. She tried to stick with the church. They try to stick with more of the high school kids as counselors. So
And that's also being held at
Beltway,
Beltway.
6000 Davis Boulevard.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Oh, you wanted to say, I think, was that Corporal Diggs or Corporal Thomas wanted to say something else?
Yes, ma'am. If anybody on this, anybody in your community needs, I'm sure Corporal Miller already took care of majority of y'all, but if anybody needs a steering wheel lock, please feel free to email myself, Corporal Diggs, or Corporal Miller. If you have a Hyundai or a Kia car, because they still in Hyundais and Kias.
Okay.
And
So
Chiefs.
what I'm gonna do is, because I don't know where you located, I'm gonna have to put your information in here, so that they can email you. Is that okay? You hear me?
Ma'am,
Was
yes,
it-
Yes,
that
ma'am. That's okay. I was trying to get to the mute button. I was trying to type everything in the chat, but
Oh, you gonna do it?
yeah, I
Okay.
put my info in the chat for everyone.
Okay. 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 Um, I I think it's Vice Chair on.
Hi, good evening.
Yes, he was here. You probably didn't see him, but he's here.
Okay, Vice Chair. We soon as we gotta get the I'm not sure is we have the office of the sheriff and then we have the fire department. Then we'll go to our esteemed Councilman Vice Chair Burrows. Okay, thank you. Is the sheriff department on, Office of Sheriff, Mr. Walter James? Okay, well, okay, we have our firefighter, Miss Brian Clark.
How you doing? Thanks for having me on this evening.
Yes,
So I was asked to speak about a couple things, predominantly fire safety, our smoke alarm program. It's a big one. I actually just put right into the chat the number that you can call for our smoke alarm program. If you need a smoke alarm, also if you need a carbon monoxide detector, we have those available as well. Please make sure you specifically say so when you call. Checking your smoke alarms at home. A lot of people have them on the wall. They never really check them. Push that little button in the middle. Make sure that they actually work. Also, make sure they're not more than 10 years old. They'll give you 10 years of reliable service. After that, realistically, you're just asking for it. At some point, they're going to break down. They're not going to be working. And, when it's something that might save the life of not only your life, but the lives of the people that you love, maybe it's just not good enough. So make sure you check your smoke alarms. Make sure they're not more than 10 years old. If you have gas anywhere in the house, please make sure you have carbon monoxide detectors. You should have one on each floor, ideally. Just having one down in the basement. A lot of times, people just put them outside of where they have their furnace or their water heater in the basement. That is the most important place. However, if you're upstairs asleep, you may not hear a carbon monoxide detector in the basement going off. So please make sure you have one on each floor. So if you do have carbon monoxide starting to spread through the home, something's going to alert you to wake you up so that you can get out of the house. Just like the smoke alarms, they only last about 10 years. So please, if you have them, check them, make sure they're not past the point of expiration. And if you need help with them, don't hesitate to give us a shout. Aside from that, I know people would want me to touch on. There's a couple of things that have happened in the area lately. We've had a couple of fatal fires in your area. Unfortunately, they both are still under investigation, so I can't comment directly as to the cause. However, I can confirm the one on Brandy Hall Court in Oxon Hill, there's one deceased, and the other one was Galloway Drive in Oxon Hill, 2 deceased. So we've had 3 residents die here very recently. And again, I can't say the specifics at this point, but I will tell you smoke alarms save lives. Please make sure that you have them in your house. Please make sure that they're good to go. Another thing that's very important, have a fire extinguisher in the house. A lot of times, there's small fires that start, they spread very quickly. And if you don't have a means of extinguishing the fire quickly, it can spread, it can get out of control. And it's not just the flames themselves, but the smoke that's oh so very dangerous. That's what's going to choke you out. It's what's going to take you down before the flames even get to you. The things that we use nowadays to build our furniture, to make our homes, look at your couches nowadays, these IKEA specials. Look at the tags on them. You're going to see ingredients, words that begin with things like petroleum and ethyl. You know, they're oil-based chemicals that we use to create the textiles nowadays. And when they burn very hot, they burn very fast, and they burn very, very noxious. So please, stop the fires from ever starting, or if they do start quick, or they do start, have a fire extinguisher so you can get it out fast. Aside from that, there was another incident. I'm sure a few of you are wondering about the incident with the pipe bomb. I'm sure a few of you heard about that. There was a confirmed pipe bomb found over in Suitland, and it was a storage unit. So a storage unit was auctioned off, and the new buyer of it was going through what was in there, and say they found something that looked suspicious, and wisely they called 911. Our bomb unit was dispatched. They did determine that it was an incendiary device. Took it out. It has been dismantled, disposed of properly, so no one was harmed. There are likely to be charges pending against the original owner. Outside of that, do you guys have any questions for me? Anything I can address for you? Anybody? Don't be shy now. Come on.
If you have questions, please put it in the chat, and our firefighter Clark will respond to you. So put it in the chat. Thank you so much. Very helpful and useful information. Really appreciate you coming out tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am.
So with that being said, where is my illustrious councilman? There he is. You're up. Go. Take it away, councilman.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, President Taylor and Vice President Harrison. And I want to thank all of the members of the police department for your amazing work and keeping our community safe, and same for the fire department. I was able to hear a lot of your presentations, and I just want you to know on behalf of the community, we really do appreciate every single thing that you're doing to keep us safe. I want to acknowledge the work of my civic association president, President Taylor, and I want everyone on this line to know that she is, I feel like this is a full-time job for her, because whenever we call her, she's there. No matter the time of day, no matter the time of night, she will come to the Wayne K. Curry building, the county headquarters, essentially, and fight and advocate at the drop of a dime for our area. And so I want to say thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Mr. Vice President, and your entire team for always going to bat for Camp Springs. Today, I invited the president of WSSC, Ms. Keisha Powell, who's here, who will have a presentation essentially giving us updates as it relates to Allentown Road. I live off Allentown Road, and I know a number of members of the Civic Association live off Allentown Road, and I know that we have experienced damage to our cars and other things, frankly, due to the potholes and the construction. And my office has gotten so many emails and questions and concerns that I communicated to President Powell, and President Powell said, well, I want to come down to Allentown Road and see things for myself. So I appreciate you pretty much, I think it was the same day or maybe the next day, being so willing to come down to Allentown Road to see the concerns for yourself. That means a lot to us. And so I'd like to turn it over to you, President Powell, to talk about where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. And then also any information you can provide to the residents about your process for filing claims because of the damaged cars. So with that, President Powell, I'll turn it over to you and your team.
Thank you, Vice Chair Burrows, and thank you for inviting us to be here this evening. President Taylor and Vice President Harrison, thank you for allowing us to join your meeting this evening to share an update. I do have, and also want to thank you, Ms. Plachette, for being a conduit of information and coordinating with me. I did go out to Allentown Road, and I drive Allentown Road and Old Branch. We have 2 projects there regularly. And I can tell you, I am not happy and had not been happy with the quality or the condition that the contractor has left the site and identified issues. We also had our chief of health and safety go out, who walked the entire project, both project lengths, and identified issues that needed immediate correction by the contractors. And we understand that this is a reflection on WSSC Water. It's also a reflection on your communities for visitors that are driving through. And, you know, I want to thank you all for your patience and your grace, though I know that you are out of patience and your grace is wearing thin. We have been in constant contact with the contractor. Following my discussion with Vice Chair Burrows, we met with the contractor's president in my office. I met with him directly and shared specific concerns about the project. And having reviewed this so far with our engineering and construction team, I've come to realize that the way this was designed and planned for construction is not the way that we want to proceed in the future, where so much of the roadway is exposed while the water main work is being done. And we understand that you know the importance of this project, the benefits that it will bring to the community for safe, clean drinking water. That's without question. But we recognize that in going through a project like this to get to the benefits, there should not be such impacts. And you know, going forward, we will make some adjustments in how we do work. Our goal is to get this completed as soon as possible for you now. So the engineering and construction team is going to give you an update, but I do want to share with you that this is one of the projects that I have asked to be audited. We will look at the planning, design, and construction of this project. It's being audited by an independent third party. We will be engaging subject matter experts to review this project, to identify what happened on this project and how we can make improvements in our project delivery going forward. So again, I apologize for the extreme inconveniences and the disruption and the concerns, the impact to vehicles and your commute in the area. I will continue to drive Allentown Road and Old Branch until this is completed, and we will stay on top of this. As far as filing a claim, Vice Chair Burrows, we will put that information in the chat. But those, there are instructions online. There's a form that needs to be completed that will come to our general counsel's office. The claims division is under the general counsel's office. They review those claims and will process them. I have already talked to our interim general counsel to make her aware of the concerns that have been raised from residents in the that are traveling the area. And so if those claims are submitted, they know that they're that they need to handle those expediently. And so again, we'll put the specific link and instructions in the chat, Chuck, if you don't mind pulling that and putting that in. But before I turn it over to our engineering and construction team to give an update on the project, and the current schedule for completion. Are there any questions that I can answer?
Miss Powell, one question's in the chat. They said, could you please tell us when you spoke with the contractor?
We had a meeting late last fall regarding the project. There were some improvements they made. I believe the chief of health and safety actually walked the project. That was perhaps in the summertime, and had identified some traffic control measures that were needed. I drove the site, and I have been driving it regularly. This is before or right after the first snowfall. So this was the top of the year. I've also driven through the site through the summer and the fall. And one of the challenges that we have run into on this project is much of the roadway was exposed because they were doing the water main work in longer lengths, as opposed to doing shorter sections and then finishing that work and coming back to do permanent restoration. Part of the challenge is when you are putting in new water main, it has to be pressure tested before it can go into service. And if the project is scoped such that long lengths of water main are going in without intermediate valves or places for you to kind of pressure test sections at a time to make sure that those sections have been installed correctly, then the contractor is essentially waiting until all of the water main work is done to pressure test it. And then once it passes, then they will do the permanent restoration. Where the restoration is a challenge is they will do temporary patching before the permanent restoration as they go along, and the team will explain this in more detail. However, that temporary patching is either done with a hot mix asphalt, which holds up better, or cold mix. And around the time of the snow, especially, they were using a lot of cold mix, which did not hold up well because the asphalt plants close when it gets below a certain temperature. And in addition to that, they were not doing level, they were not leveling the asphalt. And so it was a very, very bumpy ride. There were a number of locations where the patches that they did, the temporary patches, were sinking. And so those were things that I noted and documented with photos and shared with the team, who has also been in constant contact with the contractor and shared those issues with the team. And you have this very long trench of the main water line, and then you have all of these essentially trenches that are cutting across the road where it's making connections. And so that's been part of the challenge as well. Was there another question? I'm trying to get to the chat.
Yeah, one was, when will Old Branch Avenue be open?
The team will cover that in their presentation. So if you want to move on to the presentation, and I can monitor chats. Let me see. I saw one this week. They dug up neighbor's driveway entrance. No signs were posted or notifications mailed to the neighbors. So if I may, President Taylor, there's another question about procedures. So if the contractors are doing work, they should be providing notice just before the work is being done. And we'll confirm the notification process that the contractor is required to use. But we just yesterday had a discussion with our communications team and our government intergovernmental relations office about the cadence of communications regarding the projects. So you will see a more regular update on a regular cadence for updates for this project on a monthly cadence, just because of the status of this project. We're evaluating the cadence for project communications going forward. But from the contractor who is doing work related to this project that is going to be an impact to the community, we'll confirm what signage they're required to post and the notifications that are supposed to be left for each home in the community before that work proceeds. But thank you for making us aware of that concern. And then there was another concern about the unleveled patches. So that is something that we brought to their attention. The cold patch does break up, but they were to go back with hot mix asphalt and do a better job of leveling. After they were supposed to do that, I rode through the area. There were still some unacceptable locations, and we're continuing to stay on them to address it. Okay.
Someone wants to know what is a cadence.
So, I'm sorry, the regularity, the time period in which we will, I'm sorry about that. So the cadence is how often we're communicating. So on what, whether it be monthly or bi-monthly or quarterly.
Yeah, if someone wants to know about, is the same contractor going to be used for another neighborhood? My neighbor has water main replacement scheduled for the fall. Will the same contractor be used?
So when we issue contracts, we're bidding them out, and we move forward with the lowest responsive bidder. So it quite possibly could be the same contractor, but we are noting the deficiencies in the workmanship for this contractor and having those discussions with our general counsel's office. What we need to do going forward as well is make sure, and we've had discussions with our inspectors about holding the contractor to our specifications and ensuring that they are adhering to the specs. And if they are not adhering to the specifications and they're not maintaining the work site to the quality that we require, that we will be requiring going forward, that we deal with it much sooner than has been dealt with before. Yeah.
Okay, I know we need to. Also, it's some presentation, so
yeah.
So we won't run out of time.
Sure.
We're going to do the presentation, but may I ask you this because I guess some of the staff that are here from WSSC can answer some of the questions in the chat, please. Do you know, I currently received my WSSC water bill, and the maintenance fee is I think it's a bit much. Is that gonna be is that a permanent maintenance fee for them putting these pipes in the ground? Or is that a one time? How does that work?
The fees on your water bill are the fees that we have had. Those fees did increase. Last year when we had a rate increase, the fixed fees, those are part of the fixed fees of your water bill. So your volumetric portion of your water bill is related to how much water you're consuming, how much water is being used, and that is billed based on the rates. However, the fixed fees are those increased as well. And we did more of an increase to the fixed fees in order to make sure that we have revenue stability going forward, because we do have infrastructure investments and operational costs that have increased significantly, especially this year. We're impacted by the same increases that you see for electric, for power, because we have a lot of power consumption for our operation. So in order to make sure that we can cover the costs of the operation, because we're a utility that is not a not-for-profit utility, we needed to make sure that our revenues were stable. We've experienced a decrease in consumption over the years, but we have to maintain infrastructure at the same level and also continue to invest in capital projects. So that's part of making sure that we can do that going forward in the future.
Okay. Okay, we're going to start with the presentation, but before we go on to the presentation, I just want to throw this out here because we have several people who are making the statement that we understand about the, like a lower bid, that's who gets the job, but based on all the complaints that the community have been speaking of throughout this whole process, why would they be considered?
So when we document their performance, that does become a factor. However, there are some things that we need to do differently as well, like phasing the work differently so that you don't have these very long trenches and difficulty maintaining the site. We also need to make sure that our inspectors, who several of them are contract inspectors that are working on our behalf, are actually holding the contractor to the specifications and maintaining the site in quality conditions. So the purpose of the audit is to make us aware of what we need to do differently going forward. There is a limit to the contractor capacity that we have access to. We're starting to see more bids come in for this work. However, at times we may only get one bid for a project. So going forward, our goal is to make sure that anyone that is working for us is working to a certain standard, and that we have a project that can be managed more effectively going forward. And if there is a need to bar a contractor from doing future work for us, we have that as a remedy as well, and have talked to our general counsel's office and procurement about that. There are some intermediate steps that we need to take as far as this or any other contractor is concerned, to make sure that we can we get a hold of these issues.
Thank you so much. So without further ado, who's doing is it Mr. Mazian doing who's doing the first presentation?
Yes, Mr. Iyad Mizian is our chief engineer. So he will be leading the presentation along with a member of the engineering and construction team, Mr. Tim Allen.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
There's a lot of, look, there's a lot of questions in that chat.
Yeah, I'll go in the chat and start answering questions while they're presenting.
So much appreciated.
All right. Good evening. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Good evening. Thank you for having us. I just want to say thank you for the Camp Spring Civic Association. Thank you for Council Member Burrows and for all the elected officials that have been supporting us on this project to remedy the situation. And we appreciate the opportunity to talk to the community. You know, this is not the first time that we have talked to the community about Allentown Road. We've had, I think this is a third or meeting with Camp Spring Civic Association. This is the first time online, but I've been to the center and we've talked to the community. And yes, this is a project that is have been challenging for us and for the community, obviously. There is a lot of lessons learned, as the general manager said, that we are implementing that we will cover today in this presentation. I want to start first with the agenda. Next slide, please. In this presentation, we're going to introduce the project team and talk about the project purpose and the overview of the project, and then address the community feedback and the solutions. We're really appreciative of the feedback that we got from the community. That is really, you know, helping us identify the challenges that you're experiencing and take corrective actions. Then we're going to, Tim Allen is going to go over the winter roadway restoration and what work has been done during the winter. But what work is coming up and the estimated project timeline. We expect this project to wrap up and be completed definitely this summer. And we are doing everything to make sure that the contractor is on track. And we then, Tim is going to talk about the background of the project delays. We're going to share a project map showing you the paving and how it was done. And then, of course, we're taking questions and answers, but you don't have to wait to the end. You can continue posting your questions in the chat. Next slide, please. So just in background of this project, it is a very important project. As you all know, WSSC, you know, our mission is to make sure that we're providing safe drinking water to the community. And making sure that the sewer services are provided in high quality and in ensuring the safety and the health of the public. So to do that, you know, we really need to continue to invest in the infrastructure, meaning replace old and aging water mains, upgrade the water mains, upsize them, when there is higher demand, when the community is growing, to be able to accommodate the community so that we can ensure reliable and strong water supply for the growing community, especially in southern Georges County, where there is growth that really needs new additional water mains. So this project, the background of it, is we are replacing old, smaller water mains with a larger one. We're also putting in a 42-inch water main to supply water to the Camp Spring storage tanks. All of you who drive on Allentown can see the tank. That tank ensures that there's enough water so that if there is a water main break, the water stored in the tank can supply the neighborhood until we isolate the water main break and address it. And so that's why it's important to be able to fill it back in case and recover in case there's any interruptions with a larger water main. So it is an important project, but it has to be delivered properly, right? So the region continues to grow, and you know, we continue to assess. We have a whole department, asset management division, that looks at the growth and the planning and comes up with the projects that are needed to upgrade our infrastructure. So that's why both Allentown Road and Old Branch Avenue have projects that are installing brand new water mains to strengthen the reliability of the water system there. and ensure that we continue to provide sustainable and safe drinking water. However, in doing so, we really need to, no, stay on the same slide, please. We need to make sure that we're providing, can you go back to the previous slide, please? Thank you. In providing all these services and upgrading the infrastructure, we need to make sure that we are doing it in a smart way. So as you heard from the general manager, we've accumulated lessons learned on this project, and I want to touch upon some of them and what we're doing. So during construction, you know, to be in the position where the whole street, about 2.5 miles of this project, dug up, and also Old Branch dug up all at once, that tells me it's poor planning. We learned that lesson. We need to plan better. So from the get-go, our planners, our designers are now going to be trained on think about during construction, what's going to happen. It's not enough to just, you know, design a good water main project or a good sewer project, but how is it going to be constructed? So we're improving that. That's a lesson learned. This project, you know, in the future, a project that is 2.5 miles is going to be cut in phases, where the contractor can work only on one phase, not cutting, you know, disrupting the whole road. And that's what happened in here, because we gave the contractor plans for 2.5 miles, the whole street was dug up, you know, causing these. So that's one lesson learned, that we're definitely going to make that change. The engagement with the community, you know, we do have meetings with the communities when the projects are in design, and then again when they're in construction. But we really need to increase the frequency to get more feedback with the communities, and that's what we did here. But there was a question: why did, you know, upper management start a little bit late on this? I acknowledge, you know, we should have started earlier. Our communications team are going to be engaged much more often and more frequently. And that's what we've done, as you all know. Like I said, this is really the third or fourth time we meet with the community, but we should have done it from day one, not the last year when problems started coming up. We should have started from the get-go, because then some of these problems could have been avoided. The planning, I go back again to the temporary patches. That's a planning issue, right? You know, we got ourselves in a situation where the temporary patches were being installed in the winter when the plant is closed. And so, of course, we ended up with cold patch that is susceptible to deteriorating really fast in the winter. We should have planned the construction schedule so that we don't put ourselves in this situation. So there is a lot of lessons learned in the planning and the design. But then in the execution, we are retraining our inspectors on the importance of keeping the site clean on a daily basis. We are training our inspectors on the importance of compacting the trench so there is no settlement. We are training our inspectors on a daily basis. At the end of the day, you must walk the whole site. If you see any patch that settled, you tell the contractor to stay late and fix it. If there's any debris or rubbish on the side of the walk or a sidewalk, stay until it's fixed. So we're working on the design aspects and the planning aspects. We're working on the execution and construction, but we're also engaging our contractor. And the contractor have a representative here with us tonight listening to this, because it's really important for these contractors. Like we said, you know, we don't know if they're going to win another bid, but we want to make sure if this contractor or others are working in the future, that they understand these lessons learned, that they really take this stuff seriously. Contractors, you know, make sure, because they're water and sewer contractors, they're making sure that the water is laid properly, the water pipe, the sewer pipe. But somehow they have to change the mindset that even a small patch, a sidewalk that is left with rubbish on it, that's an obstruction to the community. They have to understand the impacts of construction on the community, and not only be focused on putting in a new water main or a new sewer. So that's why we're engaging the contractors. Communications is important. Lessons learned are important at all levels, you know, from our designers to our inspectors to our contractors. We're really changing the mind shift on all of that. So, the proactive community engagement is really important to us. And we're going to start doing that, like I said, in the planning phases and in the design phases. Our ultimate goal is to really become the gold standard of coordination and execution on projects. This project was a hard lesson for us to learn from, but we promised you we're going to implement those lessons. And we're committed to doing better on the remainder of this project, but also on future projects. And that's why we're executing what the general manager alluded to, the audit. We're going to audit this project. We're going to hire a third-party consultant, outside consultant, to come in and look at the whole history, what went wrong, what lessons learned. Like I said, I just mentioned a lot of these lessons, but we want a third-party consultant to come in and also check and see if there are other lessons that maybe we're overseeing, to make sure that we don't repeat the mistakes that happened on this project. So I personally apologize to you for what went wrong, and we're committed for the coming few months. This project is going to wrap up this summer, but we're committed to you, with the contractor being present here, with our team being present on this call, that the coming few months, we will try our best to do the least disruption to the community and try to finish this project in the high quality within the schedule, the remaining schedule to be completed. I'm going to look at a couple of the questions that were asked and see if I can answer them. The schedule, like I said, this is Tim Allen will go in depth on that, but the project will be completed this summer. And both Allentown and Old Branch Road will be completed this summer. What time the contractor? The timing of the contractor, what time do they work in the morning, what time do they work in the evening? Tim Allen will answer that. But there is a permit from DPI that they have to work within that permit. And yes, there is a quality control team. Like I said, our inspectors, they are there to make sure that the pipe is installed properly. There was a question that, did the pipe fail the pressure test? Like the general manager said, we install a water main and then we pressurize it to see if there's any leaks. So if there are any leaks, it just means that, yes, it failed this test, but we're gonna fix the leaks and then pressure it again. So that's what the contractor does. During doing that, the contractor does not pave the road with final pavement, because it will be costly to take out the final pavement and replace and fix the leak and then come back and put final pavement. That's why they put these temporary patches. But like I said, can we schedule the whole project so these temporary patches are being installed in a manner that is not in the winter where they're going to settle and deteriorate faster? So these are some of the things that we're going to be looking at. Looking at other questions, I think that's most of the questions that were here, but we'll make sure at the end to answer any questions that I haven't answered. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Tim Allen, who is the project manager on this project.
Thank you.
But actually, before I do that, are there any questions for me?
There might be some in the chat. I did see one from Miss. I guess Mr. Allen is going to give specific dates when the project is supposed to be completed, correct?
Yes.
And
yes,
then I guess one of the things you said, so it was says what? So what you're saying is that this is the first time you ever performed this type of project in the DMV. Is that correct, Ms.
No.
Street? Is that the way I'm supposed to say that? Ms. Street? Ms. Street, can you unmute yourself so we make sure we understand what you're asking?
Yeah, my question is, it appears that you all have, since you ran into so many projects and so many lessons learned, you all have never learned this from a previous project of this size?
No, obviously we've had problems in the past that we continue to correct. But this was too many things that went wrong that we should have caught and corrected earlier. But of course we have projects of this size all the time. I think part of the like I said, the challenge in here is that this is a major roadway, a thoroughfare, so everybody drives on it. That's why we should have done better planning on this one. And then the length of the project and the size of the water main. And of course, I mean, the contractor did not do the best job either. So it was a culmination of different things.
Okay, we're gonna have, Mr. Allen is getting ready to come on, but before we go to Mr. Allen, they want to make, this is being one of the points being made that from Temple Hill Road to Westchester Road, Westchester Drive, the road was done beautifully, but from that point to Branch Avenue, that seems not to be the case, and they want to know why.
Yeah, so Alan will show, Tim Allen will show the map. So essentially what happened is half of the road, the water main has been tested and passed the pressure testing. So the final pavement went there. The other half, the connections to the side streets and to the homes were still being worked on, and the pressure testing was still being done. So that's why that had the temporary pavement. So that's the difference between final pavement, which is the half that is completed and everybody is happy with, and the temporary patching, temporary pavement, which is the half that is still being paved. That second half is now, and that's what Tim Allen is going to show you, is now being paved. Is what the contractor is doing. They first go to the trench where the water main went, and they install concrete there. They do cutbacks. And then they do the top layer. And that's what we're going to show you and talk about. But yes, the second half that is under construction right now, under paving, will look similar to the other half that everybody is happy and pleased with.
Thank you so much. So Mr. Allen is up.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Iyad. Thank you, General Manager Powell. My name is Tim Allen, and on this slide, I'm the technical contract supervisor for both Allentown Road and Old Branch Avenue projects. This slide has some important contact information for these projects. Of course, there's me, Tim Allen, my phone number and my email address. Derek Jones, our construction manager at the Temple Hills Depot, his phone number and email address, and our claims department, which is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Their phone number and the email address for claims, as well as the QR code on the screen, will take you straight to the claims webpage, which has all the information on the claims process in both English and Spanish. Next slide, please. So we're starting with the Allentown Road project. The Allentown Road work began for the Allentown Road project around March of 2022. The project is currently 7 months behind, and there is a slide we're going to address some of the delays we've had on this project. It was originally scheduled to be completed in late November of 2024. Again, I'll address some of the delays that we've had and why we're going to be late summer. We're expected to finish late summer of 2025 at this point. So this project consisted of replacing approximately 3.57 miles of water mains ranging from 4 inches to 42 inches in diameter. So small mains, large water mains, as well as house connections to water the lines that actually come into your home, or at least to your property line. The purpose of this project was to really enhance our system resilience and redundancy. And as Iyad pointed out, to maintain the Camp Springs tank is very important, especially for, we had your firefighter, Brian was on earlier talking about house fires. Those tanks help ensure that we have water in the system to fight fires and also to provide you reliable drinking water. All temporary patches have been replaced with permanent patches. I know everybody's seen the work going on between Sheffield and Old Branch Avenue. Final paving and striping is currently taking place in phases and will be completed this spring up to the intersection of Old Branch Avenue, weather permitting. Let's see. Final paving, yep, summer of 2025. So late summer 2025 this year, the entire project will be completed and the entire road will be milled and overlaid, or final paving and striping. We can go to the next slide, please. Okay, this is a slide here. We have a project map, and it's going to show the impacted streets. You'll see the green is where that final milling and overlaying or final paving has been completed up through Sheffield Drive. And then the remaining, the blue line, all work has been completed as far as the water main has been installed, pressure tested, everything is done. And that's where we're working on our final mill and overlay, our final paving and striping. They've been out micro milling, repairing some patches, repairing some permanent patches that needed to be addressed before we do the final paving and striping. If you look at the little blue dot right there at the very end, that's the intersection of Old Branch Avenue and Allentown Road. We do have some remaining work there. The remaining work is, we're considering that that's phase 4, and we have to relocate the existing 16-inch water main so we can install finish installing the 42-inch water main. Final paving and striping of that intersection will be at the same time. That's going to be your late 2025, weather permitting. We can go to the next slide. So the next slide is a brief overview of the project timeline. Basically started March 2022. We're here March 13th. It's a good approximation of where we're at. We have had a couple delays, and I have a slide where I'll go over the delays. We've had approximately a 35-day delay. And then we had around 6-month delay. We can go to the next slide. So here we're going to discuss the Allentown Road delays. So our original 1-month delay happened around late July, early August of last year. Project redesign included installation of a new 16-inch water main to feed the new 42-inch water main. We ran into some issues. There were some unknown or unforeseen duct banks in the way in that intersection that we could not finish the last 72 feet of 42-inch water main. So we had to kind of redesign that intersection to feed the 42-inch water main to get water to the Camp Springs tank. Our second delay is a 6-month delay, which is we had to redesign the entire intersection outside of feeding the 16-inch to feed the 42-inch. We now have to relocate the existing 16-inch water main. There were 2 reasons. One was the duct bank, the electrical duct bank, and there's another duct bank there. The other reason is that it was the elevations wise, we couldn't, the 42-inch and the 16-inch were in direct conflict with each other. Those were some unknowns, unforeseen things that happened. But here we have the work remaining is installation of 72 feet of 42-inch water main, approximately 160 feet of 60-inch water main, and that's all at the intersection of Old Branch Avenue and Allentown Road. All of this work that we're doing right here is gonna allow the tank to recover water faster, provide, when we're doing this work. Also, I just want to make sure to read it. I know we want to be proactive, but we're going to let the community know when we're going to start doing the work in the intersection. Most of this work is going to be done at night. I'm going to say a majority of the work in that intersection will be done at night. So hopefully it will not disrupt your commute too much during the day. We can go to the next slide. So this slide, we're talking about our winter roadway restoration. So this is a tough one. You can see in the picture, right after the snow, January, it was too cold. Asphalt plants, excuse me, we couldn't get hot mix. The contractor had to use cold mix or cold patch for their temporary paving, and it just does not hold up in the winter. And we obviously have driven over it, and I drove over it, and I know it was terrible, and I apologize for that. But that cold patch just does not hold up. It's prone to wear and damage from the moisture, freeze thaw cycles, snow removal, salt treatment. And Allentown Road is a heavily traveled area, so it doesn't hold up well to high traffic areas. You can see January 23 of 2025, where we addressed these issues with hot mix, and hope it made the drivability much better. And then here we are, March 10th. There's another photo there, March 10th, where we're preparing for our final paving and striping from Sheffield to just short of Old Branch Avenue. One of the reasons that we had to use the cold mix, and the contractor had to use the cold mix, is because due to the low temperatures. So permanent roadway patches, especially for hot mix, require 40 degrees and rising temperatures. And with the extreme cold and snow that we had in January, it just wasn't possible to do it. And I know Yad touched on this a little bit, that we're learning from what we experienced here, and maybe we can avoid these problems in the future. Next slide, please. So here we can see some paving progress on Allentown Road. I'm sure everybody's been driving Allentown Road. You see, we've been working diligently to get the road taken care of and get their final curb to curb paving and striping done. And this will continue in late, no, that's Allentown Road, yep. And this is going to continue. This should all be completed by, hopefully this, what's going to be completed this spring, weather permitting. There we are. Accidentally minimized my window. We can go to the next slide, please. So Old Branch Avenue, another very large project. This supplies water to your Clinton zone, or the Clinton tank. Began in the same time, about March 2022. Our estimated completion, this project is on time, we're on schedule, is estimated to be completed summer of 2025 this year. We're installing 3 miles of new 30-inch diameter water transmission main. And our final paving and striping will be the entire road summer of 2025 once the project is completed. And I know if anybody's been driving Old Branch Avenue, I'm sure you have, I do every day I come to work, that you'll see approximately 70% now of Old Branch Avenue has been completely milled and overlaid, or final paving and striping from curb to curb. I know I saw a question in the chat about northbound Old Branch Avenue, north of Kirby going towards Allentown Road. I'm going to address that probably I think it's on the next slide. We can go ahead and go to the next slide. Oh, no, not yet. So this is the project map. This project runs from Allentown Road all the way to Piscataway Road, and all the streets in between are involved in this. The blue outline represents the alignment of the new water main being installed, and again, those are the impacted streets. We can go to the next slide. And this is shows pictures. This is progress that we've made on Old Branch Avenue with our final curb to curb paving and striping, and it will continue into late summer. You can see we're making great progress on the Old Branch Avenue and Allentown Road. We can go to the next slide. I'm going to discuss some of our upcoming traffic impacts outside of the temporary lane closures during the day to do paving operations. Southbound Branch Avenue at Kirby Road, the ramp closed. The ramp is closed. We closed it effective March 10th. That was this past Monday. It will be closed for 4 to 6 weeks. The detour points everybody to Covered Street Way. I believe it's probably about an eighth, maybe a quarter of a mile south of the Kirby Road ramp, and that's what everybody should utilize as a detour. Northbound Old Branch Avenue from Alley Road to Coolridge is estimated to be open late March. As we've notified the Camp Springs Civic Association about the Kirby Road ramp closure. We notified them about the northbound Old Branch Avenue road closure. I just want to make sure that these are schedules all estimated and weather dependent. So northbound, like I said, this late March, and if you want a specific date for that, our goal, and please don't hold me to it, but if you're going to hold me to it, call me and yell at me. Our goal as of today was to have that northbound lanes open and paved by March 28th. That's our goal. And that's if weather lets us do it and everything goes according to plan, that's when that'll be open. We can go to the next page. Next slide, please. So as Eyad pointed out, we've made changes, and we are making changes, constantly making changes, thanks to your input from the community. We understand the impact that the work that we do has on the community, has on your commute. It's disruptive, and we need to do better. We need to be more focused. We need to be more diligent and making sure that the roads and the drivability is better and we're not having cars damaged. So in coordination, one of the things we're doing, especially for Allentown Road, to get your paving done a little bit faster or in a timely manner, is we've coordinated with DPI, and in response to the community feedback and road conditions, we've extended the weekday work hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. So it gives the contractor that's doing the paving work and the paving restoration more time to get the work done. Weekend work may happen, and if it does, it's only going to be on a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're trying to fast track work to smooth roads, reduce bumpiness, and prepare for final paving and striping, ensuring a safer and more comfortable drive for the community. I drive the road every morning, both Old Branch Avenue and Allentown Road, just to see what you all are going through. And Allentown Road was terrible for a time. I know it's gotten better. It's better today than it was yesterday, and moving forward, it's just going to get better. Old Branch Avenue is the same way. We're trying to ensure that all the paving and striping and steel plate corrections are completed before the contractor leaves the job site. Eyad touched on that we're having retraining our inspectors, and we expect our inspectors to identify areas that need to be addressed and make sure that are addressed the same day. We're conducting daily inspections of permanent patches and steel plates and overall site cleanliness. We're revising project planning and design, as Eyad pointed out, just reiterating it, that we're revising project planning and design to incorporate phased work. to help minimize traffic disruptions and improve roadway restoration. And we're implementing continuous audits to identify lessons learned from these projects and apply it to future projects. And as I wanted to point out, so Old Branch Avenue, I wasn't 100%, but I wanted to put a win out there for the community and for us that about 70% of Old Branch Avenue is curb to curb final paving and striping. So I know I know y'all are driving Old Branch Avenue, you drive Allentown Road. Old Branch Avenue is looking real good. I drove it today. They were out there working today, fixing some paving that needed some repair. So we're making progress, and we're at the finish line. And with the community's help and patience, we're going to get there very soon. We'll go to the next slide. So on this slide, you can contact us at 301-206-4001. It's our customer service number. If you want to sign up to get alerts about what's going on in your neighborhood, you can see to the left, there's the CNS customer service notification system. And then if you see something, say something. Report a water or sewer emergency 24/7 to our call center by phone. That would be by calling 301-206-4002. You can also do that via our WSSC Water mobile app, or you can email our call center at emergencycallcenter@wsscwater.com. And thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for for your presentation. I hope it answered many of your questions. Community, if you have additional questions, I believe Mr. Allen, can you put back that last, because did you all get Mr. Allen's information? He said, give him a call. He said, scream at him.
That's correct.
So-
Screaming. Go back to the first slide. I believe it's where, yep, there you go. There's my name. We can drop it in the chat too if somebody wants to.
Yes.
Feel free to call me, email me. If something's wrong, yell at me, and I'll make sure it gets taken care of. I talk to customers on a daily. I actually talked to a customer that lives off of Allentown Road, was asking about what was going on. Comes to find out that I went to school on Brinkley Road, Camp Springs Christian School. That's where I graduated from. And just so happened we went to the same school. He's just younger than I am, but it was interesting. So call me. I'm available.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. So that's his information. We appreciate you all coming out and providing us with some updates. And we know that, it's been a long process, and, the community is frustrated, but we're going to get through this. And did you say March 28th, Allentown Road is going to be fully paved?
No,
To be smoothed out?
I was referring to northbound Old Branch Avenue, north of Kirby Road, where it's currently closed.
Okay. Oh, that would be fully paved.
Well, we're going to be paving that, but we're also going to open it up. Right now, it's closed going northbound.
Oh, okay.
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 It's closed between Alley Road and Coolridge Road, or Coolridge Avenue, I think it is. But our goal is we're working on paving that and completing all of our work right there by March 28th. As long as the weather lets us do it. But that's our plan. And it's, as of today, that's what we were looking at. I saw that question in the chat, so I wanted to address that specifically.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ms. Powell.
Tim, there was a question on or just a comment about letting the community know when the intersection of Old Branch Avenue and Allentown Road will be done, just so that folks can choose alternate routes. So do we have, you'll provide the specific date for that work?
Yeah. Once we get closer, because right now we're finalizing how the work is going to be done, when it's going to be done.
Okay.
But we'll notify the Camp Springs Civic Association about that. We'll put it out on social media. We're partnering with DPNW today. They're going to be putting information out on their social media as well, so everybody can be informed as to what's going on.
Right. Okay. And Miss President Taylor, there were a few comments in the chat about WSSC Water's responsibility for managing the contracts and ensuring the quality control, and about the planning for the project. I absolutely agree that it's WSSC Water's responsibility to manage the contract, whether it be through our own staff or contract inspectors. And we're working to get ahead of that and improve processes. This is, WSSC Water has undertaken a number of water main projects in the past, and we are, learning what has worked in the past and what has not worked. None of us on this team were here when this project was planned, designed, and conceived and went into construction. But now being here as general manager, and our chief engineer has been here less than a year. Our pipeline construction division manager has been in his role less than a year. And I'm 2 years into the agency. We own the project. We own and take responsibility for the things that we have to correct. This is not meant to be excuses. We see the challenges. This is not a way that we would have planned the project for such an essential artery in the community for travel. And we understand that, and we are making sure that projects are planned and the construction is phased differently going forward. And the challenges that we ran into with specifications and differences in specifications between what WSSC Water required for restoration and what the county required, those are gaps that have been closed. And also making sure that we're requiring the site to be maintained per our specs is something that we are requiring from the contractors that are doing work for us. So a number of improvements that are being made. I want to thank the community again for your grace and your feedback. It has been tremendously helpful, and we'll continue to make progress on this until it is closed out. So again, thank you for allowing us space and time on your agenda to share where we are with the project.
Thank you so much. We appreciate for you all coming out this evening to give us some feedback on this project. As I've said before, it's been longer than anticipated, but we thank you. Look, we're partners and things happen, and I know we get frustrated because it's been like a roller coaster on Allentown Road, and you all are in the process of correcting that, and we appreciate it. So thank you for coming out, for your whole team. And and I work closely with Miss Dupree. Thank you, Miss Dupree, she always provides me with updates and provide me information. So with
You
that
are
being
more than
said,
welcome.
thank you. With that being said, those of you who are on here that live in the Camp Springs area, please join the Civic Association, because you will get some updates that you might not get otherwise. So we would so reach out, go on to the website, www.campsprings CSCA.org and go to the join us. That's one of the tabs, and you can become a member so you can get your updates. So thank you so much for that. I know, and thank you for our other guests who are speaking this evening for being so patient. But y'all know that we got to get, the community has spoken about this with the project. So it took longer than we anticipated, but we're going to get through our guests, and we appreciate your patience. So with that being said, we have to go back, and then after we have we're going to have Mr. James come on. He's going to give us some information about the Office of the Sheriff. And after that, we will have our speakers for the Board of Education. We'll have Ms. Goings McCant, and we'll have Dr. Moss in that order. So, Mr. James, you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much, Madam President. Thank you so much, family. I apologize for not being on early. I had two meetings going on at the same time, but I definitely wanted to be here. Good evening to everyone. I bring you greetings on behalf of our Sheriff, the Honorable John D.B. Carr, as well as our Chief of Staff, Ms. Tracy Brown. The last time I was on this call, many of you might know I was with the Office of Community Relations. Now I am the Director of Community Engagement with the Office of the Sheriff. I've been there for about 5 months. So I'm still learning this operation, but one of the goals for this as a director of community engagement is to ensure that we are showing up to meetings so those individuals can be educated on the roles and responsibilities of the Office of the Sheriff. Many of you know we are the law enforcement arm of the courts. So instead of doing the criminal side that the police department does, we handle a lot of things that come from the courts, like your evictions, your warrants, and other things as such. So that's one of the goals to do more of that. But there's a few things I want to share, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time, but a few things we have going on that I want to share, some few initiatives. One of the things we are having is working with our young people. We have one program called Inspiring Young Minds, where many of our deputies are located in a lot of our middle schools throughout the county. We have a project called Tyology. One of the things we want to get back to some of the basics and getting our young people and our young men especially to learn how to tie ties and be professional when they show up to different settings. So we have something called Tyology, and I'm collecting neckties until March 21st of this month. So if you have any ties you want to bring to us, we have an event later this month on March 27th at Andrew Jackson Middle School. And we want to, the 100 Black men of Prince George's County will be involved, as well as the Kappas will also be involved, teaching our young men to tie ties. So I'll leave my information in the chat. You can contact me, and we're collecting those ties. We have our Sheriff Citizens Academy. I think this is very valuable. I know the police also has a Citizen Academy, but coming over to the Sheriff's, the Office of the Sheriff, I learned so much by going through this academy and learning the roles and responsibilities. We're looking to kick off our next session later this spring, so I would make sure I share information with you about the Citizens Academy. This March, in March, as well as International Women's Month, is also International Read to Me Day that's coming up on March 19th. We'll be in several of our schools reading books to our young people at Barack Obama Elementary School, Bladensburg Elementary School, Clinton Grove Elementary School, Pointer Ridge, as well as Sonia Sotomayor Middle School, also in the county. A couple other things I do want to share. We have a newsletter that we put together, and I make sure, Madam President, I send that to you on a monthly basis so we can include that, which runs down a lot of things that we have going on. I don't want to take up too much time, but thank you so much for this opportunity. Again, my name is Walter James. If you need to contact me, you can contact me by my county cell at 240-286-6570. Again, that's 240-286-6570. Or you can contact me via email at wjames@co.pg.md.us. Again, that's wjames@co.pg.md.us. Thank you so much, Madam President.
Thank you so much. You did that in record time. I appreciate that. I will put the in a couple of minutes. I want to introduce our Board of Education representative. We have our District 8 representative. We have, there she go, there go Miss Goins McCann, and we have Dr. Moss, who's District 7 representative. They're gonna provide us some information about what's going on, because they're trying to demolish the Department of Education. So they're gonna just give us some update.
Thank you so much, Miss Monique, and to everyone at the Civic Association. So happy to be here and to also introduce, for most of you all, not the first time, but the first time in this space, my colleague and District 7 board member, Dr. Moss. He is not on camera this evening, but he will be here through audio. Yes, so as we have heard more news since the last time that we talked about what's going on with the Department of Education. The most recent update we have from our superintendent, and we are extremely grateful to have a superintendent that works well with our board and is responsive not only to us, but to the needs of our constituents. And quite frankly, right now, everybody is trying to figure out what this looks like. There are some basic facts, though, that we want to make sure that we are sharing and that the community knows. So what the administration chooses to do with their administration and those their cabinet positions and all of those things are one thing, but wanting to make sure that people know that the Department of Education as a whole is something that was authorized by Congress. And specifically, when we're talking about the monies that come to our school district, I've heard a lot of concerns around IDEA and our special education students. Those things come through Congress and they cannot be arbitrarily removed, et cetera, except by acts of Congress. So not to say there is nothing to worry about, but to say that that is not something that we necessarily have to be concerned about those specific programs at the moment. So I wanted to start with that. And the other thing to highlight that just like a lot of our county government going on right now, our school district is trying to do as much as humanly possible to pull people in who have been, whatever word we want to use, rift, who have lost their jobs as a result of some of the things that are going on in Washington. All of the hiring fairs that are going on. If you cannot make it to a hiring fair, the website exists, and I will share some more of that in the chat. But wanted to give the broad overview about what we do not have to be concerned about and what we do have to be concerned about. Board Member Moss.
Yeah, Board Member Goins McCants, thank you for the invitation and able to be here tonight. You all are truly fortunate in Camp Springs to have Jewel and Board Member Goins McCants on the board. She was asking the real hard questions tonight at our board meeting about student safety, and just really appreciative to have her as a colleague in the work. We're both former educators, so this work really hits for us when we think about the federal government and what's happening. More so for me, I think many of you knew when I was campaigning, I used to work for Congress, specifically the House Education and Labor Committee. And so this has been really trying to watch, what's happening with our education system. But Board Member Goins McCants is right. Congress, appropriated these dollars, and they fully expect them to, to be used in that way. One of the things I do want to share with you is there was a resolution to abolish the U.S. Department of Education. An executive order to abolish the Department of Education. You saw the Trump administration back off that, and then they immediately began laying folks off. You'll find that just last week, they also got rid of federal grants that would train teachers at Bowie and Maryland. And thanks to Anthony Brown and his leadership and other attorney generals across the country, they sued. And just yesterday, the courts required that the U.S. Department of Education send those dollars to those universities so that we can continue training teachers. And as you know, we have a shortage of educators in our county. And so this is good news for our work. What I can say to you is someone, who's worked in this space of ed policy. We've got a lot of litigation ahead of us, but that is all we've got on our side is a judiciary and a legal system that can fight and fend for us. I'll say one other thing. I think Board Member Goins McCants wanted me to talk about policy tonight. I chair our Policy and Governance Committee. She chairs our Budget Committee. And I've got to congratulate her on being here tonight. We unanimously passed a budget. I don't know that that's happened on the school board, and I don't know how long. And she led the board through that process of unanimously passing a budget that also got rid of a projected $34 million deficit. So I'm going to toot her horn for her. She's not going to do it herself, but we sent a budget to the county council where we don't have a deficit at all. And she really pushed us to get there. So you should be thankful for Zakia. But this is my last comment that I'll say around policy and governance. We've been in Annapolis fighting to protect the blueprint. As you know, there was a bill that was proposed to get rid of community school funding. We fought that really hard. We offered some amendments, and thanks to Ben Barnes from Prince George's County, that effort failed. And so we feel pretty good going into the Senate about protecting community schools, which makes sure we have wraparound services for our kids. So we've been in Annapolis all session, really fighting to make sure the blueprint stays intact. And so I just want to share that with you all. And, on the way out here, I'm going to give you a link to my newsletter that I'm going to send to everybody. You can keep up with me that way. But it's so good to be here tonight. And we really are fighting. This is our life's work. Both Zakia and I, we're educators. We work in education, so we care deeply about our school system. But Zakia, if you expected me to say something else, I will. I know you don't like it that I complimented you in your budget work, but I think the good folks in Camp Springs need to know that after being on the board for less than 2 months, you stewarded a budget process that got us to pass a budget unanimously that also closed a $34 million deficit.
We do know we have a jewel. We know we have a jewel. We
Well,
appreciate her.
sometimes we had to remind us that we got good
You
folks.
right. I agree with you. We really appreciate. We're so happy that she won that seat. We're very proud of her. Thank you so much. Did any?
Dr. Moss, and giving us especially all of those updates.
Oh, Mr. Tickman said, our former Crossing High School teachers rock.
Yeah. As our, I'm not going to say forever alumni and alumni association president, as well as our PTO president. I didn't even see he was in the chat. Thank you, Mr. Joe.
It's good to do that. It was fantastic. Yes, that is fantastic work. So does anyone have any questions? Well, you all did a fantastic job. So we will applaud you and keep up the good work. And Dr. Moss, come back with Ms. Goins McCann anytime. Our next meeting is in May 8th. So put that on your calendar.
I work for Zakia Goins McCants, so wherever she tells me to be, I'll be.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for that report.
Good evening. I have a question, please.
Sure.
My name is Eugene Yarber. Good evening, everyone. And I'm a local farmer in Upper Marlboro, PG County, and we grow organic produce, and we have been able to serve some communities that have low access to healthy foods. And I'm interested in sharing this agriculture talent with the youth in the schools. So who should I contact for that?
That is an excellent question. If you will send me an email, and I will put my information in the chat, and we will make sure we get you connected with the appropriate person. Because I'm not sure off the top of my head if our CTE would be the best person or our partnerships, but we will direct you to the right person.
Okay. Thank you. I'll look for your information.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much. Dr. Bradford, I see your message. I will work on we will work on trying to get Pepco at our next meeting, which will be May 8th. And that meeting is usually our legislative wrap-up meeting where we have all our elected officials, Legislative District 26, which are our state officials, and I guess councilman's still on here, and we usually have our councilman who report out for us, but we will see if we can get Pepco on here also. I'm making a note, try to get Pepco.
I had just one more plug, Miss Monique, before.
Sure.
I have a meet and greet this Saturday from 2 o'clock to 4 at our Thurgood Marshall Middle School in the multi-purpose room. So if you all have time to stop by, please come out. We are not just meeting, but also answering questions. Our our chief of academics will also be in attendance to help with some more specific academics questions. So if there are any parents in the room who are concerned about that explicitly, please come out.
So a couple of things. Do you have a flyer?
Yes, I will drop it in the chat.
No, just as, can you send me the flyer? Because I don't know I probably don't know how to get it out. So send me.
Somebody had sent that to you, but I will definitely send it to you.
Send me the flyer. We'll make sure we get it posted. So that's the meet and greet with our representative. It's from 2 to 4 at Thurgood Marshall on Brinkley Road. And the chief of academics will also be there. So yeah, thank you so much. So with that being said, Chris, so we have one of our members and neighbors. We had Miss Kat Conroy. She's the director of the Prince George's County Pet Unity Project. She's going to give us some information about this project to help you with your little fur babies.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
Yes, go, Miss Conroy, go.
Hey neighbors, I'm Kate. I live off Brinkley in Allentown, and I am the director of the Prince George's County Pet Unity Project. PG Pup is an all-volunteer grassroots organization that exists as an entirely free resource and service to all Prince George's County residents and pet owners. We are here to help serve all the areas that the county's not able to. We've got some really old laws that are ineffective and hold us back and prevent us from accessing a lot in terms of animal welfare and pet owner support. So while we keep working with our wonderful council member on a solution, something that's going to take time and support from everybody, I wanted to introduce myself and our organization and what we do, so you know about all the free things you can have if you have a pet or your neighbor has a pet and you need a hand. We do a lot of anything to keep dogs out of the shelter. So simple things like free ID tags in case your little four-legged friend sneaks out to go on a solo adventure. Somebody can find them and help get them back home. We help folks experiencing housing discrimination find new accommodations with their pet, or help locate a foster family to protect a dog while your family is in a transition time. We have a community database of trainers, boarders, and walkers to help anybody, but it was especially targeted for our federally employed neighbors who suddenly found themselves going back to work. We'll give you free training tips, enrichment items, leashes, harnesses, toys. We have experienced teams that'll talk you through any training or behavior issues to help you have a better relationship with your dog or to help stop that chewing or peeing on things. If you've got a neighbor that's problematic, we'll give you free poop bags that you can put at the end of your driveway with some sign suggestions to help encourage them to be decent people and clean up after their pet. We will fix your fence. We'll drive your dog to vet appointments. We'll arrange vaccine clinics and more. We've worked for spay and neuter, talking families through pet parent situations that are new, or helping you rehome an animal when your circumstances change. Literally, the Pet Unity Project will do anything we can to help keep your pet at home, safe, and out of the shelter. We're different from any other organization that's previously existed in our county because we focus on the human aspect as well as the pets. We acknowledge that there's no pet wellness without human wellness, and we care for all of you just how you are, wherever people are and however we can. It's a no judgment zone. We're not trying to force our ways or beliefs on you. We just want to see how you can help keep your pet safe and legal within your own means and capacity. Our board is pretty big and robust, and in their professional lives, they are trainers, behaviorists, and nutritionists. We've got a human nurse, an animal veterinarian, and a mental health specialist. We have lawyers, a lobbyist, and some animal rights activists. We have a Maryland housing accessibility and rights policy expert. We are Black, white, Latina, straight, gay, women, men, and non-binary. We're diverse professionally and in our humanness, and we're here to serve everybody in our county just the way they are. So I'm going to drop a couple of flyers for our free services and what we do in the chat. Please share us, use us, volunteer with us, tell people about us. If we can't do it, we can help you navigate the situation. And if anybody wants to talk about changing the laws or volunteering with us, we would absolutely love to have you.
Thank you. We're still in our time. Look, within our time frame. If you all saw our agenda, Director Schaefer from Revenue Authority, she sends her apologies that she wasn't able to attend tonight's meeting. She gave me some stats for our area. I will try to get them on our website because we're like 9 minutes to go. And so I would like to go on to the this as we've been stating throughout the last year that this is an election year. 2025 is an election year for the Camp Spring Civic Association. And the chair, the nominating committee chair is out. Please keep her and her family in prayer. She lost her sister. So with that being said, for the upcoming fiscal year, Delonte Harrison will be your new president. Diane Randolph will be your treasurer. Crystal Isaac will be your recording secretary. We still are seeking volunteers for the vice president's position and the corresponding secretary. If you are interested, you can reach out to me. I will put my email in this chat because we really have a lot of positions, a lot of things that we want to do in the community, but we need some volunteers. So if you want to do something with the Civic Association, I done put my email in the chat, please contact me. With that being said, where is Vice Chair still on here? Ms. Blanchette, did he have to leave? He had to leave?
He did.
Okay.
He's in
Yeah,
another
I know.
meeting.
He's a busy man. He trying to keep us straight. We understand that. I just wanted to thank him for getting the GM from WSSC to come out tonight. We really appreciate that. We love, we love to work with you all, collaborate with our councilman's office. He's doing great things. He has a great staff. Y'all give him some, look, y'all can reach out to him, but be nice. Be nice, okay?
We appreciate you, and I'm not going to start talking because I know you're doing a great job trying to keep to your agenda, but WSSC has been great, and we really appreciate President Powell for coming out actually to Allentown Road. I connected with her, and she said she was on her way within about 20 minutes, and I remember a specific day it was raining, and she showed up, and so we appreciate her, and thank you, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you, Ms. Plachette. So I put my email in the chat. I know some people also, I guess, Mr. Bailey, we're going to post this on Facebook. Can people, because like it's some information people want to get, how will they get this? I mean, I know that we could put this on Facebook.
Well, I'll check with that. We'll definitely put it up on our YouTube page.
YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I'll do that within 24 hours.
Okay. So this is going to be
this is very important information. So I will make sure that's done within 24 hours.
Okay. And also, I know some of you all said that you wanted to get a copy of the WSSC slides. I know Miss Dupree, you got the emails. I'm not sure if you got all the emails. I wrote down emails also. If you want to, people, because I don't have all of you all's email address, I put my email in this chat. You can send me a email saying, please provide me with the slides also.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been also, Miss Taylor, I have been tracking some of the requests in the chat and capturing the emails. So, and I sent you a private message also regarding the
I
chat.
missed it.
So it's okay. It's just so that I can make sure that we capture all the questions and capture them accurately. But I did grab the ones that I saw. So just for follow-up. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Uh-huh.
So we have our Vice President, Delonte Harrison, who will be your new president. Take us home.
All right, first of all, I want to say thank you to the community for coming out here. It was hard work for us to get those signs out and get everything lined up for you guys. The most important thing about the community is the Civic Association is that we want to deliver you the most accurate and all the information and all the resources that you can have here in the community. It's very important that you let your neighbors know what you've learned here today so they can be a part of the community and the Civic Association so they can get all of that information. So everybody can be up to speed of what's happening, what's going on, and who are the representatives that represent them. I just want to say I want to thank Vice Chair Edward Burrows, General Manager Ms. Powell, Mr. Allen, Office of Community Relations, our COPS officers, Mr. James, congratulations. I think that's a great move there, Mr. James. Also, Ms. Goins McGant. I'm gonna try to make it out there to the with the kids out there with you at the school. And Ms. Parker, I want you to get well because I know that you're under the weather, but I'm glad you still stuck it out with us here on the line. I just want the community to know that we're doing our best, and we can do even better if you guys could join us here at the Carroll Springs Civic Association and be a part of all that we're doing. Because it's not about us; it's about us, but it's all about the community and making sure that we get all the information that we can, and to let you guys know what we're doing. So I just want to close this out and say thank you because without you guys in the community, we will it would be a struggle, and we're so happy. All right, everyone. So that's what I have to say. I'm just excited.
Oh, I apologize.
Right here, Madam President.
I do apologize. Can y'all give Mr. Vins 2 minutes? Mr. Vins, come on here. This is our Office of Communication Relations representative for our community. Mr. Vins.
I'm sorry,
I
allergies.
apologize.
Close us
No,
out,
you're
Vin.
fine. No, you're fine. I apologize for intruding, everyone. My name is Vance. I work for the Prince George's County Office of Community Relations. Excuse my sniffles. Allergies are already starting for me. However, I did send in the chat some information regarding an event we have coming up. It's called the PGC 311 Forum. This past week, actually, we had an initiative for 311 on the actual day, 3/11. It was for resource families. We had a lunch for them. We shared some gifts to them to send to their kids as well. And also we did a self-care activity with the resource families. The politically correct term for foster families or foster parents nowadays is resource families. So that's what the new terminology is, in case you're all wondering. But yeah, we have the PGC 301 form coming up on I want to say the 19th. I sent the flyer in the chat, but I'll send it again. It is at the old administration building. If you all are familiar, it's on the first floor. Someone will guide you towards the suite as well. Excuse me. And we will be having some light fare, but more importantly, we'll be introducing a new feature for our PGC 301 mobile system. you're able to send an actual text to 311. So please come out to that event. It is on March 19th. It is during the day. I will, like I said, I did send Miss Taylor the information via email. Hopefully she did get it and disseminates it to you all. And then my last thing was the registration for, the registration for our senior advocate luncheon has already reached capacity. However, you can sign up for the wait list. I did send Ms. Taylor the flyer already. And you can sign up
Mr.
via
Benz, I hope you sent it to me by
yes,
email.
yes.
Okay.
If not, I
Okay.
will send it again. But that
Okay.
is all I have.
Hey, Vince, it's Montre
Yes.
here from
Hey,
WSSC
Montre.
Water. Hey, how
Hey,
you
how are
been?
you?
Good.
Good.
Hey, so about the resource fair that's happening next week, is there space for any WSSC resource materials for those tables about our financial assistance program or billing programs? Is that a resource we can provide?
For the forum, you're talking about the
For the
PGC
forum, for the
forum?
resource forum?
I can contact Miss Hawkins and ask her if you all can come, be a vendor or tabler.
Well, I don't want to overcommit us in terms of our presence, but if we can possibly provide resources for the event, if we have some copies for our financial assistance program.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll contact you.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Ms. Hennigan, it says, does the Camp Springs Association include Fort Washington and Temple Hills? Fort Washington, yes. Part of Temple Hills, yes, because some people don't realize they live in Camp Springs and they're using Temple Hills. Camp
Okay,
Springs,
when I moved here, it was Oxon Hill, and then they changed it to Fort Washington. I'm right off of Temple Hill Road in Mansfield Manor, right below Giant.
that should be Mansfield. Where's Mansfield?
Mansfield.
Right below Giant.
Uh-huh.
You mean
And
are you going towards?
going toward Kirby. Going toward Kirby Road and the what's there's a what is that place that they rent for events? And there's a church up there also.
Yeah, that's if you're that's Camp Springs.
Yeah, that's Camp
Yes.
Springs.
Okay.
That's Camp Springs. Yes.
Okay. Even though
Yes.
the mailing address is Fort Washington, it's still Camp Springs. Yeah, because I'm right there at
That's
where
part of
Giant
Camp
is.
Springs.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I'm going to join then.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
And I have a neighbor too. She would join.
We love it. We love it. Well, that being said, everyone, we thank you for coming out tonight. And you all have a good night. Stay safe. Remember, I was told that all of the flyers are on the website. We're gonna go and check back. But Ms. Smith, I will personally, because you sent me your email, I will personally send you, because you said you wanted to know all of the events that's coming up. I will send you an email shortly, because one is this Saturday. But this Saturday, remember, you have to be 55 and or older if you want to get the Apple tags and things like that. And that's at Eastover and Rivertown. But it was a slew of them. I'll send you the information. So y'all have a good night and thank you. Did y'all say thank you to our firefighter, our police officers?
Yes.
Everyone was
This was great.
fantastic.
Thank
You
you.
to WSSC, to our Board of Education, to our Sheriff Department. Did I say fire department? I did say fire department.
We did.
Yes. So thanks to everyone. We appreciate you.
We do.
Good night.
Good night.
This.
I couldn't hear you.
I didn't say thank you to my councilman's office, did I?
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
I did? Oh, okay. I just want to make sure.
You did. You fine.
Okay. And thank you to Miss Powell for coming out tonight.
Yes.
Everyone have a safe and a beautiful weekend. Y'all know I love you. And you can't do nothing about it. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you, President Taylor, Vice President Harrison, and to all of our Camp Springs neighbors. We appreciate you.
Yes.
We appreciate you too.
Good
Okay, thank you.
night.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Thank you, Ms. Plachette.
Yes.